like to first thank you for your time. And today we're going to talk about Microsoft 365 and how it can take business to the next level. So let's talk about where we stand right now. The world has changed. It goes without saying. Everything that we used to do, we don't do it the same way anymore. The pandemic came in and forced us to work remote, forced us to be a lot more cognizant to diseases, to viruses, to working remotely, working from anywhere. Hackers are taking advantage of this. There's so much going on, and the world has changed completely. And that's why new tools, new ways of thinking are crucial nowadays to make sure that you could remain working productively and still delivering your services to your clientele and patients. You know, of the Fortune 500 companies that existed in 1955, this is Fortune 500, big companies, the ones that did not adapt are all gone. 89% of all Fortune 500 companies that were in existence and doing well in 1955 are gone in 2020. 2020 is not an easy year for sure, but looking at that and looking at the statistics, it really made me think about why would they be gone? A company with so much resources, and you're a Fortune 500 company, you usually have a lot of money. I'm sure you're making some investments, and some may be some decisions that weren't correct, but also some of them must be tools and ways to adapt to the new environment that we continue to live in. And that's an important piece to understand, that at the end of the day, our world has changed. We get bombarded with information, including we live in a world where of infinite data, apps, devices, information to consume are coming towards us all the time. Social media, info, fake news, pandemic, COVID-19, what are we going to click on, and working remotely, being on time, being in a million Zoom or Teams meeting, knowing, and the technology that we have throws a lot more information towards to us to disseminate. So how many emails you didn't read, how many tweets you have, how many meetings you have. It even goes all the way to, you need to water this plant. This is an energy report for the kind of sun that is coming in and kind of power that you're consuming. So much information is happening, and we're getting fed this information in a format that we want to see it and easier. Yet, at the same time, we continue to work like we always have. We continue to work the same way, using the same set of tools we always have, even though we are not the same. We're not functioning the same, and we're requiring our employees and our company to function a different fashion. So the idea of Microsoft 365 is a tool, and I'd like to, we'll discuss it in detail on what it is and why it was developed and how we can do it. So, and how we can get benefit out of it. So we're going to show you guys some of that today. So to jump into Microsoft 365, Microsoft introduced it as a complete, intelligent, secure solution to empower employees. It encapsulates Office 365 and your Windows 10 and your security and enterprise mobility. That's just one section, one portion of Microsoft 365. You know, this is a coming together of best of class of Office 365. Microsoft kind of combined all their resources and different applications into one format, including Windows 10 and enterprise mobility and security and your servers. It's a complete solution for intelligent teamwork and security that actually has AI infused in it, artificial intelligence. So it could do quite a bit for us. And I'm going to show you some examples when we do some of the demo today and explain to you how to use it. And it's not just Office and some of the tools in Windows 10. It's a lot of security that comes along with it, from you know, secure identity with multi-factor authentication and a self-serve password reset, to secure devices, device management for Windows and mobile devices, and iOS or Android devices as well. The idea that Microsoft is putting together here, it doesn't matter which device you use. It doesn't matter if it has Windows on it or not. As a matter of fact, Microsoft's latest device is called the Surface Duo, and the Surface Duo is an Android device. It comes preloaded with Android, and it uses all the Microsoft tools, including Microsoft 365 and Office 365. You get to secure apps and restrict space to personal apps and storage. It save only to OneDrive for Business. So this is the Microsoft 365. The OneDrive, think of it as your own personal hard drive. You store your own stuff there. This is not made to be shared among the entire company. You can, but it's a little cumbersome, and you could share one file at a time with people outside the company. But think of OneDrive as being your hard drive in the cloud, if you will. It also provides secure mail, email, protects from external threats, and it comes with advanced threat protection depending on the level of license that you get. And we'll go through the different licenses so I can explain that a little bit. Has a lot of email security, including DLP, which stands for data loss prevention, archiving, encryption, IRM, and all the goodness that is security tools to make sure that you're not the low-hanging fruit. And it secures your documents with classification and labels, with encryption, with tracking to what happens to that document, and revoke access to certain people in the document that have access to it. So Microsoft 365 is a full enclosed set of tools with security. But that's not just 365, right? 365 also includes something called Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is infrastructure in the cloud. It is simply a processor, a CPU, if you will, hard drive space, disk, and RAM memory, random access memory, which means users are still required to upload and patch the software that they load on there. Microsoft Azure is the hardware portion of it. You're able to go in Microsoft Azure and build it up. So from just your Active Directory or domain can be in Azure, and you could still have servers internally to your environment, but linking it to Microsoft Azure allows you to use the Office 365 portion of it, to lifting up another level higher and having your servers in the cloud and your workstation are still with you, and you're connecting to them through a VPN or through a published apps that you may have on those servers, or through terminal services. It depends on how you build your Azure environment. And it could be your whole network, including your desktops. So Azure can also support Windows desktop right in the cloud, where you can actually then eliminate everything you have internally and put it all in the Microsoft environment. Azure is a very strong infrastructure, highly available, and you pay for availability. You say, I want it hot, cold, I want it hot, hot. This is as much availability that I want. This is as much support that I want from Microsoft. It varies in price from $100 a month to $1,000 a month for the type of support and availability that you want, not to include the kind of processor and RAM and what have you that you would need. Now, if you do that, you're no longer spending any dollars internally on your servers or anything like that. You're moving them all to the Azure environment. That has nothing to do with the Microsoft tools, with Word and Excel and all that. That's part of Office 365. So if you think of Microsoft 365 altogether, it includes Office 365 and Azure. That's the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So Microsoft 365 Business and Enterprise Edition offer a suite of online services and access to traditional desktop apps, something that you can download. It's an enterprise level email system with 50 gig of mailbox space. You can go up to 100 actually, and 1 terabyte of personal OneDrive storage with sync client available for every desktop platform you may be using, including Android or Apple or iPad. All these tools are available for whatever device you bring it to play. So it depends on how you're designing your network and what portions of your network you're taking off premises and putting it in the cloud. All that can be discussed and designed right. And Azure has admin controls to restrict obviously users from sharing confidential information outside the organization, has strong DLP or data loss prevention systems. So Microsoft is trying to build all their tool sets in their environment for you to use. The Microsoft ecosystem overall, so to explain what Microsoft is doing all together, one is productivity, which is Office 365 and all the tools that comes along with it. Outlook, Skype, Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, Power BI, which is something fairly new that Microsoft is pushing, is basically business analytics that will link to different applications, and then you could create your own dashboards and see that information. And Microsoft owns also the Dynamics 365 piece, which is actual applications. Used to be called Great Plains, they bought Navision. They bought 2 or 3 different applications and are kind of building it together. It has a CRM system. It has project management, marketing, finance. Microsoft also owns LinkedIn, so that's part of what they do. Then comes Azure and the data analytics. This is the infrastructure side, the hardware side. Internet of Things as part of it. Cortana, any SQL database warehouses you may have is built in Azure. And Microsoft adds that to add a third-party apps. I'm going to show you what that is, but different people, different providers create apps to work within the Microsoft ecosystem itself to give them more depth and give you more flexibility and more tools to use. And if you're going to build your own tool, it's a purpose-built app, so you could build your own tool within the Microsoft ecosystem. So that's Microsoft 365 from a very high level to try to explain it. But above the Azure piece, because Office is obviously provided anyways with 365 and all of its capabilities, above the Azure piece is something called the Microsoft SPLA, and we're a SPLA partner. We can install you and put all your information into Azure, that data center. You could use some of the Microsoft tools and have your own servers and link them through Active Directory sync with Azure, or you can come into our data center, and this is actually a picture of our actual data center where our data center resides. Our data center is SOC compliant. It's a local data center. It has redundant power and cooling. It has high security. It has the SOC certification. It has a lower total cost of ownership across the board. As a Microsoft partner, we are allowed to make our own and build our own data center and use their and host their applications using the SPLA license program. So a few ways to look at it. You could have your own servers, and then you use Microsoft Office 365 just for email and collaboration and phone system, and I'm going to go into the details of that. You could take it a step further and eliminate some of your servers and host them in Azure, or host them with somebody like us, a SPLA partner that owns their own data center and can install there. You end up spending a little less monthly because of being local and having things locally from a connectivity perspective, what have you. Different ways to slice that cat, and it's not every solution works for everybody. It depends on your needs, your level of compliancy, your level of risk, what you want, what you care about, what kind of application you're using. Are they in the cloud already or not? What do you have on your local servers? All these are questions that will need to be answered and will need to be analyzed to let you know what's the best way to use the Microsoft 365 platform and give you some of the powers behind it. So let's talk about that some more. Let's talk about the Microsoft 365 offering altogether. This screen, you'll notice that this is the Microsoft Business offering. There's 4 different packages. Okay, and I'll explain the difference between them. The first package is the Microsoft 365 Business Basic. This is $5 a month per user. Annual commitment ends up being $6 if you're paying month to month. It does not come with any apps that you can install on any machine. It does come with all web versions of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Web version only. You store everything into your OneDrive or SharePoint. You do get Teams so that you can collaborate, and you do get email with it with Microsoft Exchange, but nothing can be loaded locally, so you're using everything through a browser. Step up from there is the Microsoft 365 Business Standard. The Business Standard is at $12.50 user per month. That's for annual commitment, or $15 a user per month if you're paying month to month. You do get 1 month free if you sign up. You do get the actual applications, which is Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher, and Access, to be loaded on your local machine. Up to 5 different devices you could load that on. Remember, this is a named user, so you're the name, that's your email address. You can't share that license, but it allows you to install it on 5 different devices, which includes, it also includes Exchange, OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams. That's in the Business Standard model. You get to load the applications. It's basically like the Business Basic, but the difference is you get to load those applications locally, not only in the cloud. And the local applications have a lot more features than the cloud-based applications. Now, take a step further and add Microsoft 365 Business Premium. Now, just to let you know, the Microsoft Business offering altogether is for businesses that are less than 300 employees. So Business Premium is the same as Business Standard, but you're adding Intune and security. You're adding all the additional security things that I mentioned earlier with DLP and intrusion prevention and information protection. This all comes through a product called Intune and Microsoft. So you do get all the security add-ons, and it's $20 a month or $22 if you're paying month to month. This is an annual commitment price that you see up there. So you get everything that you do with Office 365 plus the security aspect of it. And then there's another one that's only include apps, which is a Microsoft 365 apps, which basically does not come with email. It's just the Microsoft Office applications. And email is separate, everything's separate. You do get Outlook, but no email configuration through Microsoft. Only includes the apps. So these offerings are for companies less than 300 employees. If you notice, there is no phone system capability here. There is Teams, and you could make Teams into a phone system, but there's additional cost to that. But out of those offerings, that's all you get for companies less than 300 and don't require any phone system, but does have one with a lot of security associated with it. It also comes with, these are the same packages we discussed: email and calendaring, teamwork and communication, which is Teams, file storage and sharing, which is OneDrive and SharePoint, security and compliance, support and deployment. They do give you some support and some help. And then the differences here, advanced threat protection, PC and mobile management, are the two main differences between the Microsoft Business Standard and the Business Premium. They have both come with the actual desktop version of Office apps for PC or Mac, but the Business Premium come with the additional security, advanced threat protection, and PC and mobile device management as well. Now, what if you're more than 300 employees? Or what if you need a phone system included? Microsoft has another offering, what's called the Enterprise offering. So the Enterprise offering is this one that you see in front of you. There's three offerings when you're an enterprise level company. The first one is the E3 license, and there's the E5 license, and there's the F3 license. The main changes here is that the E3 license at $32 per user per month. That's an annual commitment. I think it's $35 if you're paying month to month, and it's $60 from $57 for the E5 license, and it's $12 from $10 if you go in month to month. Just to let you know the differences here. However, the Microsoft 365 E3 licenses comes with all the client applications to be installed on 5 tablets or 5 smartphones or 5 devices altogether. It's multilingual. It has Office mobile apps to create, edit, rights for commercial use of Office mobile applications, and Office for the web is included. It also comes with email and calendaring, comes with meeting and voice. And if you notice, the phone system portion of it and audio conferencing is included in the E5, not in the E3. The E3 is it's not included, but it could be an option. It does have a link to social networking, including SharePoint and Yammer, and that's included in all the different packages. You do get OneDrive from 1 to 5 terabytes of space, and you do get Microsoft's Team and Lists, and all these are file and content sharing applications. And you could create your own forms. You could have your own environment, to have your own intranet for every department. And we're going to dive deeper. I'm going to show you, because we're going to do a small demo. I'm going to show you what that's all about. So the idea here is to really understand what the differences are between the different packages so that you could understand what they're all about. Could continue on, there's additional tools and add-ons that you get with those packages, including task management. So there's Power Apps and Power Automate and Planner and to-do lists. There's some advanced analytics, including My Analytics and Power BI. Now, Power BI comes in E5, not E3. You see that difference here. And Power BI, again, is that dashboard view system that you could link different applications to, and then you could view that information easily. Obviously, you require some development there, and some you got to understand how to develop those dashboards. And obviously, we could help you with all that. But I wanted to show you the difference between all those packages. The big piece also in E5 from E3 is the threat protection. They both come with Microsoft Advanced Threat Analytics, and they come with Defender Antivirus and Device Guard and Defender Application Guard. E5 though does come with every single other threat protection analytics available that Microsoft has, including encryption, including data loss prevention, multi-factor authentication, what have you. Not only that, but if you look at all the additional security piece, now if you're going to be compliant for HIPAA, if you're going to be you can get away with E3 and HIPAA, but PCI we recommend E5 or at least E3 with some of the add-ons, depending if you need the phone system or not. And that's what we would help you with. We would come in and see what your needs are and how you're using it. Which package is it the business package or the enterprise package? Which one fits the best, and how it fits, and how you'd be using it, and what makes the most sense for you as a company to migrate to 365. Migrating to 365 does a few things. One, you can eliminate all your servers internally. It depends. You can now be able to share your data for internally and with anybody externally as you see fit. You have a lot more control. You're able to work from anywhere at any time, the same way every single time. You could actually have your entire desktop in the cloud. It all depends on what your needs are. But building it is one thing, and using it is another. You got to have training and understand how to use it better. And I'm going to show you some cool features when we do the demo. But you also need to have maintenance, and that's what we call NOC services per user. MVP will provide daily NOC services for your 365 tenant, and that includes implementation of the 365 environment and help with that during the implementation process, but daily review and mitigation of quarantines and email that being quarantines that should be whitelisted or blacklisted, daily reviews of mail flow, reports and mitigation of any anomalies. So if you're getting hacked or there's just a lot of flow mail coming in that your system is spamming out, before you become and you go on a blacklist, that's what NOC services will do. We'll be able to realize and get alerts and act on those alerts. We do daily monitor of automated remediation actions and make sure that all the automated remediation tools that we put in place are actually working properly. We set up a tenant alert for policy breaches to automatically create MVP support tickets. So what we do is actually see what your requirements are, see what you have to be compliant for, and then we set up alerts for any policy breaches. And if any of those policies get breached, we get alerted and we'll go in and mitigate any of those alerts. So mitigation of all tenant alerts are part of the NOC services that we provide. Support for distribution groups, changes, and user passwords. So in other words, who belongs in which group. I want to move, somebody got promoted or somebody got fired or somebody quit or what have you. All that different changes is part of what it's important to make sure that we keep your list of users clean, and then support for user email issues if anybody have issues. That's all part of NOC services, and it's important to have kind of like Microsoft MVP total protection and what we do for your internal network. We would be doing that for your Microsoft 365 tenant and environment. So NOC actually stands in an acronym for Network Operating Center. In the industry of managed services, what we are in, it is the monitoring and remediation of various network aspects for businesses. Companies with large networks typically have a NOC internally. Most of our clients use us as the NOC, and that's what we're here to provide. Our NOC is open 24/7, 7 days a week, including holidays. So having said all that, Microsoft has a ton of tools. So much, so confusing, so much capabilities, but they're trying to simplify it and trying to give you one portal to go through and get a lot of that detail out of it and a lot of that power out of it. So what is it all about? And why all of this? So let's look at some of the features that Microsoft is putting in there before we jump into the demo. So number one is, because of the pandemic, is work more securely from anywhere on almost any device. So using Office 365 business class mobile apps such as Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote provide the security and control necessary to work with files while you're away from the office or in the office, work the same exact way. Because if we're asked to quarantine again, we don't want to work differently just because we went home. And to choose the right collaboration tool, to get the groups to talk better together, to work better together, Office 365 has you covered. From Outlook for email-based collaboration, Yammer to create communities of interest, Teams for chat and voice, or Skype for video meetings or on any device. That's the idea of collaborations, to be able to work together in the same environment, even though we're not in the same room together. But most importantly, is to be able to work together on the same task and be able to see what each other are doing and have better collaboration. And we're going to show you that example where we're going to jump into the same file. A couple of people will be in the same file making changes together and seeing what each others are doing. Is to create impactful content together. Use Office integration with OneDrive and SharePoint to access, share, and co-author documents, and download Office mobile apps to help you access everything you need while you're on the move or you're working from home. And to communicate with your team in real time without having to hunt for people's information and who's who and who's doing what and who's that person who's talking to me and how can I find somebody's number. Forget all that. With Teams, you're directly communicating with everybody you need to communicate with. You can use Microsoft Teams to find and collaborate with colleagues through chat, access content and tools in a centralized repository, share info and get input and more. And I'll show you some details when it comes to Teams today. You can provide a chat-based workspace. Now, a chat-based workspace. One thing we don't get when working from home is that we don't get the banter, the walking down the hallway and seeing people and talking to them. And you get a lot of benefit out of that. Water cooler talk, if you will. Microsoft Teams bring together information that teams need to work effectively and perform at their peak. It's the water cooler online, if you will. This mobile-friendly chat-based workspace combines chat, documents, people, tools, phone systems, and a lot more. And we'll talk about that in more detail soon. And it helps employees filter relevant information and find answers faster. Because, you know, when you're in the cloud altogether, a lot of stuff gets so much information, like we said in the beginning, coming at you. You have to be, your system has to be able to disseminate that for you and show you only the important things you need to handle right away and get rid of the stuff, the noise, if you will, that you should not have to worry about. So it helps employees filter relevant information and find answers faster. So Yammer activity report to understand your organizational level of engagement. Use SharePoint to provide info such as news and training and more. And we'll get down deeper. I'm gonna log into SharePoint and show you guys some of the things that SharePoint can do. And it's a new Windows model. Like I said, your entire environment can be in the cloud, including your Windows 10. In other words, you don't even need a workstation. You could have a thin client, a dumb terminal, a really old workstation that we can convert to a dumb terminal, a really old workstation that you're using, or a new workstation you're using, but you're logging into another desktop. Your entire environment can be in the cloud, in the Microsoft cloud or in our cloud. It's the same environment using the same licenses on different hardware. So deliver Windows 10 in a continual release model. In other words, there's no more updates, kind of like what Apple does with iOS and send updates regularly. Microsoft does that and will update your applications on the fly to get the latest features and security updates. And that's one of the most important pieces of hackers, is that they're hoping you didn't do your security updates and they can use that vulnerability to access you. But if that system is updating you automatically, that eliminates that vulnerability from happening. And it's Office as a service, Office 365. You don't have to go completely to the cloud and Azure and everything. You can go in sections. You can start with Office. Then you could look at your servers and applications. Then you could look at your environment and sharing files. Then you could look at your desktops. You could do it in phases. You could only use one portion of it. You can keep some of your servers internally and have linking between both environment and have them work together as one cohesive environment. That's the idea here. The idea is to deliver Office desktop apps using Office Pro Plus deployment channels to ensure proper change management throughout your organization and business, but truly is to work the way that you see fit the way that your company see fit, and be available and be quick to find information, give your employees better tools to make them more effective and to make them work a lot better together, even though they're not in the same room anymore. And whether you're planning on coming back in or whether you're back into your office or not, a hybrid work environment, and we had a webinar just on that, is key. And for you to understand that a hybrid work environment is something you want to provide for your employees. So start thinking when you're trying to upgrade your environment into make it into a hybrid work network infrastructure so that people will use it the same way, whether they're at the office, whether they're at home in a second location in the Bahamas, Starbucks, hopefully with a secured VPN connection, and don't use free Wi-Fi if you don't have a secured VPN connection. Compliance makes me say that, and I highly recommend it. So let's get into a demo. Let's show you some stuff and go from there. I'm gonna get out of here real quick and bear with me while I share the right desktop. Okay. I'm gonna open up Microsoft Teams. I wanna make sure you're seeing the right screen, and you are. Okay, so this is Microsoft Teams. I'm gonna take us to activities here and then our teams, and these are different teams that we have. Every team, think of it as a folder. And this folder, so I'm gonna pick on sales and marketing because that's what we're doing today. And this is communication happening within that sales and marketing team. I can start a new conversation. I can add a new folder underneath it. So if I add another channel, I'm gonna call it test. And it's accessible to everybody on the team, or I can make it private and only give certain people access to it. In this case, I am going to make it private to a specific group of people within the team. And I'm going to click next. It's going to add that channel. And now I'm going to go and add one person to that team. And I'm going to add Jamie. All I have to do is her first initial, and she showed up. I'm going to click add. I'm going to make Jamie a member. I'm going to click done. Now I see that test. And it has a little lock next to it telling me that this is a private team. Now Jamie got an alert already telling her that she got added to this team. So now she responded with hi. I'm going to say hello. And then I'm going to also reply here, can you help me with a document edit? So Jamie's able to see that information in real time. Jamie will be able to write back, and she gave me a thumbs up. You see it right there. This is her reaction. So now I'm going to add a document here. I'm going to come to files, and it's blank. I can create folders under here. So I'm going to create another folder, call it test folder, and I'm going to create that. And under test folders, I can upload an entire folder that I have, a file that I have, and I'm going to upload some files. So I'm just going to come in and pick a cybersecurity awareness month file, and I'm going to upload it right here. Now I can come back to my posts, and I can reply to Jamie and attach browse Teams channel or OneDrive or from my computer, but I'm going to browse the Teams channels. Here's my test folder, and here's the document that I have, and I'm going to upload a copy. And you see it uploading. Jamie now sees that. I'm going to jump into that. I'm going to send it to Jamie first, and then I'm going to say, let's work together on this now. Do you have the time? Sounds good. I see the document. I'm going to open it. So all I did is click on the document. It opened it for me, right? Here's the document. I want to work on it, and I have Jamie jumping on it as well. And I can see the conversation happening on the side right there. with Jamie. I can then say, what do you think about the highlighted this section? And I'm going to come here. I misspelled section, but and I'm going to come here and I can then highlight this section. Jamie again can see it and log into it, and I can then see Jamie's icon and I can see her making changes. So Jamie should be jumping on here shortly, and I can add this. Please log into the doc. Now you can see how we were working together. Jamie will show up momentarily. I'm sure she's clicking on it, but you can see how I've texted Jamie. I'm talking to her about certain things. I can add comments, and I'm going to add a new comment, and I can link a comment here, and I can tell her what I'm thinking about and what I'm not. But you see how Jamie's changed throughout, and she made it gray now and made some changes, and this document was locked, and she requested access from me, so I'm going to allow her access. And give her access to make the changes. So that's the idea of collaborating together and working together on the same document. I probably got an email to give Jamie that access. I have to log in and do it, but since we're in a webinar, I'll do that in the background and show you guys what this is all about. After I'm done with here, you notice there is no save file. I don't have to save anything at all. I can just simply click on and get out of it and close it. And once I close it, everything happens automatically. I have a chat coming in. This is Rich sending me a private chat. I see what Jamie's talking about right here. I'm back to test, and I am going to give her rights. Oops, I added her instead of giving her the right rights, so bear with me. I gotta manage the channel. I gotta look at the members, and I gotta come here and make her into an owner to be able to have the rights to do some of the changes that I'm asking her to do. But that's how easy it is. Think of it this way. You have the control to create your own folder on your server, to give people rights to that folder and allow them to log into it and have your direct information right in it. Now, having done that and said that, let me come back to sales and marketing, and let me come back to files, and I see the files that we had. I'm going to be able to go to it, and I'm going to open it in SharePoint. Now, I've had it opened in Teams. Now I'm going to go to SharePoint. Under this, now that I'm in SharePoint, I can come in and see the history of this document that got created. I can see that I've touched it twice on 9/24. If Jamie had touched it, and she will shortly, her name would show up here, and I'm able to revert back to an older change. I can restore that change. I can delete an older version. You never lose a document when you use Office 365, and you never have to worry about saving a document. It automatically saves it for you, and everything works cohesively. But we've created a channel called test, right? And Jamie sent me a message. Let's see what she has to say. Let's work on this. Okay. I'm in it. I can see her notes. And I'm going to say, let's go. So if you see it right here, it says JS, that's where Jamie's cursor is. So I can see what Jamie's doing in this document, and I can say, focus on the third paragraph, right? Now she sees that, she can then move to the third paragraph. I can see some of the changes she's doing. She moved to it, and that's how we're able to work together and be collaborative together. It's very important. Thanks for your help, Jamie. I'm gonna close this out. She can continue working on it. Just because I close this out doesn't mean it's done. I'm back to where I was. So every one of these that you see here, if I go back to SharePoint, it becomes a folder, a large folder. But not only that, if I go to SharePoint overall, every folder that I created, you've seen the ones in Teams here. So here's Teams and all the different folders that we have. Meeting, Teams, Sales and Marketing, MVP and C, which is everybody, Sales, Engineering, what have you, also show up in as web pages. So every single folder you create, SharePoint automatically creates an intranet for you. And if I go to the intranet, I can have news. Every single document I've opened, even the latest one that I just opened right now, shows up as activities. Here's all my files and folders that I can reach. I can have conversations, which is my Outlook. So if I click on conversations, well, Outlook is going to show up and I'm going to be able to use it that way. I'm trying to show you the collaboration that you could have across the board with the tools that comes within Office 365, Microsoft 365. And when I went and I clicked on Outlook, it didn't show you all of my Outlook. It showed you only the ones with that private group, Sales and Marketing. So conversations happen within it, and I'm able to see it that way. I'm going to go back to my Sales and Marketing home. And you could also have OneNote here in your notebook. You could have different, and it will open it up for you. So if you're collaborating, you're working together on a notebook, this is where it would be. SharePoint has quite a bit of information for you to have and for you to be able to use as a team and collaborative tools. But it's all driven within Teams. It's all driven within the application. They all talk to each other and work together. And I can go back from SharePoint to my team channel, and it will open it up for me just like it did. And I'm back to where I was and some of the collaborations that I have. Now, let's say you work for a larger company and somebody sends you a message, you don't know who that is. Some tools, if I put a slash in Teams, it gives you a lot of different shortcuts. I can actually use a tool called Who, and I'm going to say, who is Jamie, by the way, that I'm working with? Somebody told me to work with her. And I'm going to write, who's Jamie? It's going to come out and say, well, Jamie is Jamie. Here's what I found about Jamie Stewart. She's the marketing manager. She's in leadership. This is her direct number. And I can now get a hold of Jamie. I don't have to have her know her phone number. All I need to know is her first name, but I can chat with her. I can email her. I can view her in the org chart, or I can just click on video call. And I can say, I don't want to type all the stuff that I want to type. I want to talk to Jamie right away. So here's Jamie. Hi, Jamie. The reason why my video isn't working because I am on a webinar. Jamie is a Bills fan. But you can see the different background that Jamie has. We can work together. We can jump back into the document. It's about collaborative environment all together. Thanks, Jamie, for your time. I may call you again. And now I can hang up on Jamie. If I go to activities, I can see all my activity, including that Jamie mentioned me, and she said, let's work on this. I got alerted from the activities, and I responded to her and able to work with her right away. Teams also support add as, so I can go add weather, for instance, and I can add a weather widget. And the reason why I did that, I wanted to show you the amount of additional, if I put Buffalo in here or our zip code, boom, I know exactly what the weather is. I didn't have to go anywhere else to see it. And all the detail, I can click on more detail and it's going to open up MSN weather and it's going to give me the detail. Add has a lot of different connections. So if I come back to my Teams and I can delete all this and get rid of my add weather. If I put add, I can go add Praise, add Steam, add Trello, add weather, add Zoom. Because if you're using Zoom, you could link Zoom to it. Add places. For instance, let me places, and I'm going to get a location for enter location, and it's going to show me places around us. But we got to set up this app. So that's the idea here. You could link a lot of different information and a lot of different tools and applications to Microsoft 365. That's the beauty of it. But Microsoft 365 is such a big behemoth, and it has so much different detail, you can get lost. So the idea is to work with a partner like us, for us to come in, see what your needs are, see what you're going to use up the most, help you design it, define it, deliver it, and train you on it. And then as you use it, you're going to see more and more capabilities. So I'm going to say use this address, for instance, or use this location, or I can put a different location here and get more detailed. I want to go to our location, and I use this location, and now I have it, and I can share that with Jamie or anybody else, an entire team. Please meet here for dinner. You have quite a bit of capabilities when it comes to 365, and it's all being used through a portal. And the idea here is that not only do you use those applications loaded locally, but you could also go to your Office 365 portal. And let me go to office365.com. It's going to log me in. I'm going to sign in here. I'm going to sign in with my account. This is me. And what it's going to do, because of multi-factor authentication, I clicked on my watch, and now it's able to log me in. But I'm able to see from Office 365 all the different apps that I have access to and that I use. And once I'm in here, I can go to any of those apps and use it, down to my analytics, how I use the system, what I use in the system, what I use the most, which teams I'm part of, which folders I'm part of the most, and my well-being. Do I have enough available focus time? You know, my network, how many employees we have and how many people are collaborating in it, and I can explore and collaborate better with them. It all comes from a higher level view to allow you to work better together, as if you're working together in the same environment. We find that even when we come back to the office and we have meetings, we still use Teams for the meetings. We don't go to the conference room anymore. The world has changed. Look at Microsoft 365 and find out how it could help you better, be more effective, be more capable. Let me start that presentation again. So bear with me here as I share the correct screen. Okay, let me go to the right slide. And here we are. Almost there, everybody. Thank you for your patience. And here we are in a demo. So, you know, that's some of the things that we wanted to show you, and some of the slash commands you could do, and you know, some of the mentions and some of the things that you could do. Team chat instead of email chain works a lot better. When we clicked on a doc, we're able to work together. You could have some sensitivity information, and that can go to certain people, not other. You have a lot more control, and the idea is to have tools together to make you more efficient. Start thinking about eliminating what you have internally and putting that in an environment that's hybrid, that's in the cloud, and it all depends what your needs are. So having said that, and because we're wrapping up now, what we're offering for everybody is exactly that. Is for you, if you're interested to find out how you could use these tools better, if you already have it, if you need NOC services for maintenance, if you don't have that, if you want to see how you could use it if you're not on it, and you want to see what can be eliminated internally and move to the cloud, how you could share files through this different mechanism, through SharePoint, how you could work in a cloud environment, whether being just your servers, just your files, or your entire environment and your desktop, give us a call. We'll come, we'll ask you the right questions, we'll see how you work now, we'll see your flexibility, we'll look at your phone system, because Teams is a phone system as well. We'll look on how you're using it, and we'll guide you and help you get there. The idea is to make your network flexible. The idea is to make the network hybrid, to give you your employees that flexibility, and most importantly, to allow you to be ahead of the curve and secure and compliant and always available without any issues for hardware or viruses or hackers. If you have the right tools, you're not the low-hanging fruit, and you're harder to get to. And that's what we're trying to get you to work better together remotely and be more secure. So thank you for your time, everybody. And I'm going to open it up now for questions. If you guys have any questions, let me see if anybody put in any questions here yet. Somebody said, I can't hear him anymore. Okay, I hope you could hear me now. And if you can't, please let me know. Other questions, how can we move forward if we want to look into this? So please reach out to either myself or Jamie Stewart or your PSM if you're a client. So just call our office, 630-1701. You could ask for Jamie Stewart. You could email Jamie at jstewart@mvpworks.com. And if you're a client already and are interested to move in that direction or already have it and need more information, please contact your partner success manager and they'll be able to help you and get you the information that you need. I'm going to open it up and unmute everybody now, and please let me know if you have any questions. And thank you for your time, everybody. And all have been unmuted. Okay. Well, I hope you guys found this helpful and beneficial. And since we're not getting any questions, if you have any questions or you need any more detail or you want to discuss this in more detail, please reach out to us.
Hey, Egrom, it's Jamie. I saw a question in here.
Yeah.
It says, do you need individual licenses per device?
Per device, no. So per user, yes. So if you're, Joe Schmo gets one license and can install that license on 5 different devices. So then it could be your phone, your iPad, your laptop, and your desktop, and another device on top of that that you may have. But you cannot share the license between different users.
Right. So it is one license per user, correct?
One license per user, up to 5 devices per user. Yeah, I saw that question now. Okay, I see a couple other questions coming through. Okay, that question was the same again, just asked differently. So I hope that answered both questions. It all depends on what you need. It all depends on how you use it. It all depends on how you share a document. It's a different way to do what you're doing, but in a collaborative way, in working together and being available all the time and secure and compliant. It all depends on what your needs are. But think about not having servers anymore in your environment. Think about just coming in with your laptop and working the same way wherever you go. Think about your phone being inside your laptop, being able to answer it on the go wherever you go. And all that is also available on your mobile device the same exact way. If I log into my mobile device, I'm in Teams right here. And in Teams, I'm able to do the same exact thing I did in my Teams. It updates itself at the same time. I can look at the same files. I can share the files. It makes me completely mobile and available for anybody at any time. And I hope you guys understand that and look at it as a big value. There's a cost to it, but there's also a big savings that comes along with it. The saving is in making your employees more effective, working better together, even though you're not under the same roof, and being flexible and being quicker at finding information and sending that to your clients, and working better with your clients and working better collaboratively and internally. And that's the idea here. The idea is to be flexible and to have the right tools. So we're not like the Fortune 500 companies that didn't evolve and disappeared, even though they were too large to fail, as some people may say. I don't believe anybody's too large to fail. I just want to make sure that all our partners have the right tools and understand what options they have, so we give them the benefit of working properly and fast together, and make them ahead of their competition and working better than their competition because technology helps you get there. Well, I hope everybody had a good time, got information out of it. If you need any help, please respond and follow up, and talk to your PSM or call Jamie at jstewart, or email Jamie at jstewart@mvpworks.com, jstewart@mvpwork.com, or call us at 630-1701 and ask for me or Jamie. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Have a great day. I don't want to keep you over. It's 1 o'clock on the dot. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you in the next webinar. Bye-bye.